go to other customers and use that goodwill to be able to showcase to the other customers that you can trust this company, this small company which is 70 people, and you're a 3,000 person, 7,000 person, 50,000 person company, but you can trust us. You can use the software from us and it'll work for you because here's another customer that's willing to vouch for me. And that's exactly what you've got to do. So
Varun, have you had an instance in which a customer, for whatever reason, has been unhappy with the ScaleArc and either because of the price or because of the service or because of the product features and decided to replace ScaleArc with something else?
Replace ScaleArc with something else? No. Haven't had that happen yet. Stop using ScaleArc? Yes. Yeah. So you will always have issues and you will always have things that you do in your software stack which tend to be divergent with the needs of some customers. And as a startup, I think this is one of those lessons that you have to learn over time. You can't serve everyone. You've got to pick your battles and you've got to make sure that you succeed in certain kinds of battles and you don't succeed in certain kinds of battles. When you're at the beginning of the product's life cycle, you always end up going after every single customer that you can. You're going after every single use case that you can. And by the end of it all, there comes a point in time where you can pick and choose and say, these are the use cases that I'm going to continue supporting as I go into the future, and these are the use cases I've got to ignore. And when you choose to ignore certain use cases, the customers that depended on those use cases would obviously resist and shout and scream. And you've got to be able to, at that point in time, go ahead and say, I'm sorry, I can't do anything more on this because this is not a long-term sustainable strategy for me right now. And that's one of the reasons why we actually changed one fundamental thing about the way the software is sold, that we went to subscription. So the software is now sold on a per annum basis. If you buy it right now, you buy it for the next 1 year. If after that it doesn't suit your purpose, you haven't spent a whole bunch of money that is going to be useless 2 years from now. So from that standpoint, it's if the software still continues to be of use to you, you keep paying for it. If it continues not to be of use to you, stop paying for it. As simple as that. And that way you have the flexibility to serve the customers that you have in front of you and the ones that you know you're going to be able to support well as you go into the future. And the customers that feel you're not supporting them well, they have the ability to opt out and they don't lose a bunch of investment that they've made in your stack. And if you look at it, this example has been tested and used in many other industries. You look at Google. One of the common habits that Google has is they start upon a whole bunch of projects. And every year they do spring cleaning and they shut down a whole bunch of them as well. And they shut down recently Google Reader, which everybody loved. And by everybody, what does that mean? Probably about a few million people loved. Shutting down a product that's a few million people gets you a lot of hate, right? But as a company, it was necessary at that point in time for them to do it, so they did it. Did they offer a roadmap for customers to be able to move to something else? Yes, they did. They had currents. Did other companies come and fill that space? Yes, they did. And that's how the technology industry moves forward. You've got to pick your battles and win your battles rather than try to win every battle that is there.
Right. So, if I do a quick recap, then you identified a good niche in the enterprise segment to build this product. Yeah. You did some laid a good foundation by setting up the company in US. Now you've got a set of good, happy customers, and then you also seem to have your head clear in terms of if a customer grows out of your strategy, you have the courage to say no, and then so that you can focus, right? So you pick your battles, as you said. So, but if I look in the hindsight, is there anything that let's say if you had a time machine and you could reverse, right? So, is there anything that you would say that you should have done or you shouldn't have done? Is there anything that you could share with us?
Whole host of things. Whole host of things. And this is something that if you ask other entrepreneurs as well, there is this one thing which will come right on top. Right on top. For each entrepreneur that you ask, let go of people that don't fit your culture much sooner than you did. And there's a few instances of that where I wish I would have done that. There's
even though you spent months in hiring them, right? As you just said.
Yeah. You've got to be very conscious of the fact that if there is someone who does not fit your organization's culture, and they're turning out to be more of a disruption than help. And quite a lot of times they realize it and they do the right thing. But if that doesn't happen, you've got to take that action. And you've got to take that in a very clear, concise, professional way. We've done the clear, concise, professional. We just haven't done the on-time part a couple of times. So
slow to hire, fast to fire. So the second part you wish you would have done a little.
We had done,
faster.
yes, yeah. The second thing that's there is, and which we have done, is work as hard as you can to retain the people that you need, the people that you want, the people that fit your organization. Work as hard as you can. Never let them go. Never let them go. And the two parts where you really can't stop people from leaving, and this is the sad part of being an entrepreneur, is when they start to quit their own company. When they quit to start their own companies, you can't stop anybody from doing that. You really can't. It's just, your own heart is in it, and if they're quitting to start their own company, you really can't go ahead and do that. And the second thing is, I'd say, being a little gun shy and hiring people ahead of time as well. There's a few opportunities where I wish I hadn't tried to conserve money at that point in time and hire at the last moment, where I wish I had hired a little ahead of time. Because in quite a lot of cases you do have opportunities that come up where a customer needs you to do a certain thing within a certain time frame, and because you don't have the resources to do it, you can't do it. And as a result of that, you can't meet that customer's need on time. And if you had hired ahead of time, if you had planned for it, you would be able to do it. So again, don't shy away from investing ahead of time thoughtfully. Those are the three things that
So I've discussed a lot about ScaleArc and work and so on. So how do we see Varun in his spare time, if at all you have any? Or is it all the time no sleep and work, work and work? So what do you do in your spare time?
So Justin and a few other members of my team quite a lot of times say, Varun's day is 48 hours. And it's not practical, obviously. So how do you get 48 hours in a day? And that's the interesting thing. And there's one of my engineers who's in Mumbai here with us. At one point in time in the day, we were having a conversation. He sat down with me and he tells me, "What do you do all day? You play video games. How do you get time to play video games when you don't have any other time and you have to be so busy?" I think quite a lot of entrepreneurs, quite a lot of leaders in general, I would say, spend a lot of time taking the smallest of things into account and spending a whole lot of time in trying to make some of the most trivial decisions. Micromanagement. And quite a lot of people actually don't even understand the definition of micromanagement. So let me also go a little bit into that, because I've been called a famous micromanager many, many times where I've worked multiple times. There's a very key difference between probably not the relevant way to describe it, but I'm still going to go ahead and do it. Micromanagement and microguidance. Micromanagement is the task where you go to the extent that you are nitpicking on every single decision that somebody else makes. And quite a lot of times you're actually forcing them to do the decision your way because you believe that's the right thing to do. Micro-guidance is slightly different in that you might be asking people to explain their decision to you, but the reason why you're doing that is so that you are more aware of the way your organization works, behaves, takes decisions, and then when that decision you feel needs correction, you don't go ahead and force somebody to take the decision your way. You argue it out with them and understand exactly why that decision is taken the way it's taken, and debate it out with them to see if
they've thought it through.
If the decision could have been done another way, in existence of extra information or in existence of a new thought process. And